Welcome to Season 2 of The Fellowship. My name is Adam Hawk. I am your host. My resident guest, Ryan Engel, is here as well. He's on the couch, and I'm assuming Nick will zoom out soon to show him. But before he does, I want to thank everyone who supported the first 12 episodes of The Fellowship. We took some time off. We're back. It's going to be a better season than ever. This first episode of Season 2 is going to be a little different. We're going to start here in the boardroom. Then we're all going to get in the car and we're going to drive down the coast to Solana Beach and see our friend and sponsored nation sportsman, Joe Etter, professional PGA Tour caddy for Patton Kizzire.
Pro Jock.
We were just out in the desert at the Bob Hope Classic. And before we go and see Joe, we want to recap our experience out there, what we saw, what we liked, what we hated, and what we can't wait to do again. So without further ado, let me bring in my resident guest to help me break down the Bob Hope Classic, Ryan Engel. Ryan, how are you?
Really good. Thank you for asking. What a wonderful question.
You're welcome. I thought it was a great question, too. That's called camaraderie, a little back and forth, a little pleasantries. Yeah. We just went out to the desert. We went to La Quinta. We went to PGA West, and we saw on Thursday the opening round of what it was formerly known as the Bob Hope Classic. We continue to refer to it that way because it's our way of keeping tradition and history alive. Although I will ask you, after we saw what we saw out there, do we want to continue to refer to the Shamex as the Bob Hope Classic?
What a sad, sad tournament that has become.
Yeah.
If you could put a dental office outside, that was it.
Yeah, it was an outdoor dentist office.
It was so fucking boring and stale, and zero mention, branding, or even like a throwback fucking thanks for the memories. There wasn't one thing of Bob Hope anywhere.
No, you would.
It's gone.
You wouldn't.
Now the past sponsors that took it over, they'd still have like, you know, a little like Bob Hope area or memory lane or something. They still had like a little homage to it all. This is the first year that I've ever been going out there where it's absolutely gone. And the tournament itself is just strange. You know, PGA West, they like to call it the Western home of golf in America. I like to call it the Western home of stucco in America. You know, it just doesn't have the charm of desert golf, you know.
None of it.
Pete Dye, you know, Jack Nick, they're great course designers, but when you go to the greater Coachella Valley, an area which absolutely exploded in that mid-century architecture style of course, when you go out there and you don't see back-to-front small greens and just like quirky like charm and little dog legs and stuff, you go out there and you see all dormant Bermuda and fucking hills everywhere and like look at this extreme bunker you have to hit over. It's just like, what is this, fucking American Gladiators? It's just so dumb. You're not even tucked up to the mountain. At least they still try to hold on to La Quinta Country Club, but I mean, I knew it was coming, but to get back on track here, that day is here, and Bob Hope is gone forever.
Well, he's gone forever from that tournament and what we saw of it, but he's not gone forever in the sense that people like you and I will continue to champion it and carry it on. What attracts us to the desert, like you mentioned, is the charm, and what Bob Hope brought to the desert was a lot of charm and a lot of timelessness. This was lacking any of it. I'd never been to PGA West before, and for those of you that haven't been, it's essentially a giant complex of golf courses. There are houses and golf courses, and the whole thing is called PGA West. And inside of PGA West, there is the stadium course, which we walked with Patton Kizzire and Joe Etter. And there's a bunch of them, but the other one that they play at...
Nick Turney.
So we walked the stadium course.
They're both very similar.
Yeah, and we weren't impressed with the course or the layout or the tournament. However, I do want to compartmentalize this because while the tournament was lacking a lot of charm and character, we had one of the best days of our lives. That was so much fun. We had complete access to every single shot that Patton hit because it was a Thursday. There weren't a lot of people out there.
Let it be known, Hawk, that give two guys like us a couple tumblers of booze and a cigar and walking around following our buds, compete as the sportsmen they are.
Yeah.
You could put me anywhere on earth and I'll have a good time. That doesn't take away from the fact that that tournament has the soul of a dead cat on a freeway. You know? It's just gone.
Yeah,
you know?
okay.
It's flattened.
Yep.
It's gross. You don't even want to shovel up. You're just like, just leave it there until enough cars fucking run it over that it's just evaporating.
Okay, so while we don't like the tournament setup or the golf course, we had such a good time. So we roll in, we get hooked up with the players' lot pass, which was great. We meet up with Patton and Joe on the range. That was awesome. And then we started on one, and we followed them for their entire 18. Patton got hot and rattled off like 5 birdies and 6 holes. Kept the mojo going. He was dapping us up.
Could have been like 8 or 9.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, his Patton Kazire, that was the first time we had met him. The southern drawl that Patton Kazire has is downright intoxicating. Best voice I have ever been around, and I spent my life in radio. Patton Kazire, best voice ever. Amazing grinding of pars out there, and just put together a great round of 67, but we saw every single shot. If you've ever been to a golf tournament before, a lot of times you're craning your neck just for a sight line, and this tiny little rock goes sailing through the air. You can't see anything. You just kind of listen for the applause to know if it was good. Not the case. We saw everything.
Chalk that up to a positive by the tournament sucking, you know.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people in your way. You
Fair
know
enough.
what I mean? So we got
Yeah.
to take advantage of that. So thank you, Amex, for that. Man, we went in that merch tent.
That was the saddest merch tent alive.
So what we did, and we're going to show this on a later episode, is we bought, so you can't see it here, but above the railing in our boardroom, we have some commemorative flags, golf flags, pin flags, and places we've been, accomplishments we've had on the course, tournaments we've walked, and so we were like, oh, let's go to the merch tent because we needed a bag to hide all our booze in.
Yeah.
And we were like, let's buy a flag. So we go in there. Everything in there said fucking American Express, PGA West. I was like, what's going on here, dude?
Yeah.
So we bought an American Express flag, and we're going to X it out. And I have some old vintage Bob Hope patches. We're going to put that on, and that will go on the boardroom as kind of like a wave the white flag.
I like that.
Per se.
Yes.
And kind of get the trumpets out and,
Yep.
you know,
Yep.
carry your friend in by the handles.
Absolutely,
You know?
yeah. Yeah.
So we'll call it Hope's Casket, and that's the end of that.
That's the end of that. Yeah. So, fantastic time walking the golf course. One thing I will say is it was an absolute pleasure to meet so many people out there who were fans of Nation and fans of what we were doing. I would say the oddest encounter was the dad. His name was Mark. Great mustache. Didn't get his last name, but Mark the Mustache is what I call him now. He had a lot of nice things to say, and then as we were walking away, he said, do you mind if I get a picture? And we're like, absolutely. And he goes, with my kids. And he wasn't in the picture, but there was a 7-year-old and a 12-year-old and I think an 8-year-old. And we've got our arms around him taking a picture. I'm just thinking to myself, like, are we role models? Because I'm pretty sure all we do is smoke and drink and cuss and
Speak for yourself, Adam.
yeah, and okay. So we took a picture with the kids, and that was great. However, the highlight of the trip for me afterwards was the steakhouse dinner at LG's. We texted Joe Etter and we said, do you have dinner plans? Because we'd like to take you to the nicest steakhouse in town and throw our plastic down.
Well, you know, the nice thing about being a small, growing brand or company, rather, you know, we're not making a lot of money, but we've got a little budget to spend. So when we find those opportunities to do it, you know, 100 oysters, dry aged ribeye, couple shrimp cocktails,
Sure.
and a plethora of drinks. Every now and then, it's nice to treat the guys to that.
Oh, absolutely. And it's
know?
nice to treat the guy to it.
I'd like to think that that's the best in-season dinner that Joe Etter's been treated to.
And we're going to ask him in just a little bit. We're going to drive down, and I'm going to remind Ryan to ask him that question. Was that
We're driving down there?
We're driving down there. We're going to Solana Beach, so drink up. I know you're driving us. And that's all going to happen on the same day. We will be in the same outfits.
God hates a quitter, Adam.
We're going to pack up, and we're going to go talk to Joe Etter. But before we do that, let's just put a bow on the whole thing. Patton went and shot 67, 67, 71, 70. He finished tied for 22nd. Great week for Patton.
Great week for Nation, too.
Great week for us. Patton, he holed
Ding
one.
dong.
Yeah, he dunked one on number 4. It's a par 3 on Sunday. And to hijack any kind of headlines during a NFL playoff weekend is amazing. So Patton did that. All the credit to Patton. A lot of people were tagging us in the comments, which was cool to see. But all the shine to Patton. That was his shot. and Joe was there wearing the visor. So it was a great moment for Pat and a great moment for Joe, and we got a little of that residual shine, which we love. But I would say this. What got cemented for me on that trip was Joe and Patton, even though Patton doesn't wear Nation stuff, but Joe does. These are the two guys that we want to be with. Like, they are great dudes. They get it. They're about the right things, and they are super fun to be all in and behind, for sure.
Definitely. I mean, those are our guys, and we're running with them.
Yeah.
No
doubt.
So let's drink up and be somebody and get our asses on the fucking road.
Yes. So we got to drive, so let's finish these drinks and get behind the wheel.
Yeah.
All right, so stick with the episode because we are literally going to pack up with Nick, bring this gear down to Solana Beach, which is 10 miles north of Torrey Pines. It's the San Diego area. We're going to go talk to Joe Etter. This is really weird. You're not going to see this for a couple of weeks. We're recapping a tournament that's going to be even older when you watch it than it is now.
Who even cares?
Who cares? And they've already finished round one at Torrey. And by
Be
the
sure
time
to
you
smash
see
that subscribe button.
Thank you for
Hit
saying
the like,
that. Thank you for saying that.
Follow
Get subscribed.
along. Yeah.
Subscribe. If you're watching this and you haven't just scrolled down and pressed subscribe, you're killing me.
Yeah. Just think, guys. The more of you we get to sign up to this thing, the more ads we can put in front of all these videos in the future.
Absolutely.
Isn't it great?
And as you've heard us say in the past, if we get to 1,000 subscribers, we can make tens of dollars.
Yeah. That could pay for our McDonald's.
Yeah, it could offset a little bit of that.
By the way, we had a fillet of fish for lunch today. What a delicious, flaky white fish sandwich.
That's why I'm hiding behind the set decorations. But yeah, the YouTube subscription will help us offset the steakhouse dinners in the desert.
This is going way too
long. All right, we're going down to Solana Beach to talk to Joe.
Cut.
Heading down to Solana Beach to talk to Joe.
He's out there right now.
Dude.
Timing, dude. Come up, you idiot.
Swing Lube at San Omar in San Clemente, California. $16.47.
That's it? The boys.
Someone put a compilation together of him eating ice cream and talking about ice cream. It's one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
Well, we've made it to Solana Beach, a beautiful, sleepy beach town just north of Torrey Pines, where the Farmers Insurance Open is happening this week, Wednesday through Saturday. They moved it up to not compete with the NFL. This is a golf brand, and we love golf, so golf over football all the time. And we are here to talk to Joe Etter. Joe has become a good friend of ours. He is the first person ever to wear Nation on tour. We couldn't be happier about it. He is the bag man for Patton Kizzire. They've won 2 times on tour. Can't wait for the third one. He is the pride of St. Simon's, Georgia. St. Simon's Island, I should say, Georgia. We welcome in now Joe Etter. Joe, thank you for being here on the fellowship.
Thanks
we appreciate it very much.
Thanks a lot for having me. It's awesome to have you guys come down and on location. And
live at the Sand Pebbles.
At the Sand Pebbles, yeah.
How many caddies are staying in this luxury resort
we
this
probably
week?
We probably got 30 of us. It's kind of the unofficial Caddy hotel.
Yeah, it's a Caddie compound, which
That's
is
pretty
really
rad.
cool. Yeah.
That's some salt of the earth stuff right there.
For
And
sure.
you have stayed here multiple times.
I have probably 5-6 years, yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
And we were just out at the Bob Hope Classic in La Quinta. You were staying at a place with 3 other guys, and you've stayed there 7 years. So it's cool. You get to bounce around the country, but when you find a place that you like, it's a place that you'll renew with the landlord or the person in charge of the property over and over again. So you've got like your local haunts. Like, you know this area better than Ryan and I, and you're from across the country, and we're from right up the road.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I mean, we're all creatures of habit out here on tour, so...
You could start like a travel blog, like balling on a budget, like
Totally.
let's get around the country with Joe Etter.
Yep.
Yeah, that would be
that
great.
could be on the Travel Channel.
So before we get into your story, and I've got a lot to ask you because you've got one of the coolest stories I've ever heard, I do want to talk about, because it's the question that we get all the time, how did Nation and Joe Etter come together? Because Nation, as big of plans as we have for it, we are on that slow, organic burn where we're building everything authentically. We're going at our own pace, and for us to get on the PGA Tour, it was a huge feather in our cap. But not just to get on the tour, but to get on the tour with you. You and I met through the Jim Rome show when I was the executive producer there. You had a Twitter account, and
Arugula.
we would DM back and forth. That's a great impression, by the way. He loves those impressions. We would DM back and forth, and you were at the time working for a pro named Kyle Stanley. He was on the show. We bounced some messages back and forth. Then the whole nation thing came out on the Jim Rome show that I was doing, the golf stuff, and then you're like, man, I love this stuff. And you placed an order. And the Lava Flow, the shirt I'm wearing right now, was the shirt that you ordered. So you have impeccable taste.
Did you set that up, Hawk?
No, this is purely serendipitous, if you will.
Serendipitous.
Yes, got that word from Joe during a text exchange last week. But that's kind of how we got together. And then to take people behind the curtain, you approached us and you were like, I would love to wear your stuff on tour. And we ironed some stuff out. We put some pen to paper in a very official way. We have it pinned up in our office. It's got your John Hancock and ours, and you've been wearing our stuff on tour, and we couldn't be happier. So that's kind of how it happened. How do you like being a nation-sponsored sportsman?
I love it. I mean, the product is awesome. I love the golden era, and the visors are phenomenal.
Yeah.
Hats
crispy,
are phenomenal, super crispy.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't go a day without 5 to 10 people wondering about what it is.
That's cool.
So I get to explain the Nation Golf story a little bit and kind of get drum up some interest and all that good stuff.
Right.
So,
yeah. And we love having you being a part of it. And I don't know if it's us. I don't know if it's PK. I don't know if it's your handsome mug. You have gotten a lot of TV time since we made this deal.
Yeah, pretty much all PK. We're gonna give it to.
He's playing some golf. He's playing some golf.
Nice golf.
Yes.
He's making ones on par threes.
Yeah,
he's making a bunch of birdies. So,
I saw his Instagram. What was? Did you say that was number 10 for him? Or
it was. I think it might have been actually number 11.
Fuck.
Yeah, he forgot when. Once you get past 10, you kind of start to forget.
I read something somewhere, and I don't know if you know this, and it caught my eye because you just imagine that pros make them at least more often than amateurs,
Yeah.
But I read somewhere that like Tiger hasn't had one since like the early 2000s or something. Like he's on like a
serious drought.
A serious drought for a player like that.
Yep.
And I found that interesting because they are somewhat of a mystical creature.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like especially speaking for myself, like an amateur, like you get that feeling where you're like, am I ever gonna get one? And then you get one, and then it takes a long time, and you're like, maybe I'll never get another one, and then like maybe one comes your way or something like that. But fucking 10, 11, that's crazy, dude, In
Tiger's defense, he builds such big leads, he doesn't have to fire at flags.
True.
That's
true.
Fair enough.
Plays the meat of the green.
Yeah. So the shot that we're talking about was on the 4th hole par 3 Sunday round. Patton he put one right on the stick. It 4-hopped right in there.
Thank God we weren't there for that.
Yeah.
That would have been pricey.
Yeah. The coolest thing that I liked about that shot was you could hear him kind of doing his own play-by-play. You hear him go, get back there.
Yeah.
And it does exactly what he says. And he's like, hey, how about that? And he does a nice little finger gun. And credit to you and PK, because the next Caddie player duo that executes a high five on tour correctly will be the first until you guys did it. You guys connected
that was
palm to palm.
Yeah.
It was one of the best high fives I've ever seen. It's a risky
There's been
proposition.
some bad ones on tour.
There's been some horrible
There's been
We've
some
had our share of mishaps.
Yeah.
So, kind of off-season, all right, let's get together, let's really hammer this out.
Like, how do we do that?
Yeah, and you guys doubled up on the high five. There was the immediate high five, and then there was the holy shit, did that just happen high five, which was great. So credit to you guys for that.
Nothing like seeing a hole in one. They're just... It makes you love thy enemy.
Yes,
like
the enemy of
anyone
golf.
anyone could get one, and you could be happy for him. I know I've said that before, but
what's the mentality when you guys are walking up to the green and he's going to go fish one right out of the cup? Are you guys just buzzing?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, it's nice to not even have to take the putter out of the bag, whatever. Like, okay, next hole.
Right.
Does the course of the tournament do anything nice for him? Like give him the flag or anything like that? I mean, fuck 11. He's probably like, screw it, who cares?
He's got too many of them. Yeah.
It wasn't one.
Yeah. For sure. So we are just steps away from the Pacific Ocean. You're that close to it. We're down close to Torrey Pines in Solana Beach, northern San Diego. We just came back from seeing you guys out in La Quinta, beautiful Coachella Valley, and before that, you were in Hawaii. You still have Scottsdale and Riviera in LA. How much do you love the West Coast swing?
It's awesome. I mean, all the golf courses we play on the West Coast, the weather is, for the most part, amazing. I mean, we had a 70-degree day today. It was a little bit of breeze. Never break a sweat. I mean, it's perfect. And with the zoo of Phoenix up next, and then the history of Rib after that. I mean,
I gotta think it's the one thing from a player's perspective. I mean, and obviously you too, because you're looping and helping and all the shit that comes with that. But like, the West Coast swing is pretty interesting in my opinion, because each stop it's completely different conditions, different turf, different greens.
Yep.
So that's got to be hard to adjust. Like a lot of Florida, all that stuff. It's like everything's pretty much
just
in the same vein,
all over the place,
But here it's like from Hawaii to some Poana, then back over to some desert rye and some bent. You're really just jumping around. That's got to be tough, to stay on track with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, I mean, all the golf courses, that's the biggest thing.
Right.
You got 3 last week, you got 2 this week, you got 3 next week for those that are playing Pebble. Just kind of
multiple scouting reports.
Scouting
Yeah.
reports.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that on a phone conversation. I found that so interesting. That's something that the common fan wouldn't think of, that the caddy, when he comes to these tournaments, has to go out and do yardages and walk-off distances for 3 different courses for one tournament. For example, at the Bob Hope, you guys played the stadium course. You played Nick Turney. You played...
Shit, it used to be 5.
Yeah, I played La Quinta.
That's right. That was before my time.
Right, yeah.
Could you imagine that?
Yeah. Hey, what we should do before we continue is on the way down, we grabbed you some swing lube, and I know you've been
Crack 'em,
trying
boys.
this beer,
I've been waiting and hoping to taste some of this stuff for quite a while.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Professional
Awesome.
beer for amateur golfers.
Absolutely.
Cheers, boys.
So I know that you're a silver bullet guy. You like to call it the Colorado Kool-Aid. Your first sip of swing lube, what do you think?
It's nice. Is this a lager? No, it's a Kolsch style ale.
Yeah.
Yes.
It
It is very easy drinking though.
Yeah, and we wanted to make something.
It's smooth with flavor.
Yeah, exactly.
Only 4 or 5. It tastes like it's got maybe a little more.
The idea there is you can drink a bunch on the course, and you can hit the taste buds of a Coors Light drinker and a hipster beer guy.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And you can have more than 1 or 2, which when you have an IPA, you start seeing a couple golf balls between your legs, and you're like, whoa, dude, why did I drink this? This is not ideal. And then you can have a couple in the car on the way home and be just fine,
Totally.
Yeah, I was just kidding about that. Yeah.
What about a little secret nipper on the course? Anyone still doing that?
Yeah, absolutely.
I tell people at home I don't drink and drive, but I will drink while driving.
Yeah. Well, it's like you don't want to, you don't want to drive drunk, but if you're drinking and driving, that doesn't necessarily mean you're drunk. You know what I mean? So,
100%.
Teach their own.
Yeah, and I do want to put a bow on last week. I know that we're at Torrey, but the Bob Hope was very special for us for a number of reasons. Obviously, this company is obsessed with the desert, and that's where a lot of the history comes from. But to go out and to be able to walk stride for stride with you guys, to see you guys do your thing, for you guys to pay a little bit of attention to us while you're on the job, that felt really cool and special. And Patton came over and dapped us up on hole 3, like right away, right when he saw us, and he was keeping the head nods and the shaka bras going the whole time, so that was really cool.
Did you say shaka bra?
Is that what it's called?
That's great. Good job.
Thank you. Yeah,
Shaka bra.
Threw a guess out and got it right. So that was super special for us, and when you're at tournaments, a lot of it is like jockeying for position just to see one shot, but we saw everything you guys were doing, and then we drive back and see the ace on Sunday that you guys made, which was awesome, and the dinner that the 3 of us had at LG's Prime, the steakhouse.
Sometimes you get melted into those seats in those
For
situations, and you just don't really want it to end.
Yeah.
Could I just sleep here?
Yeah. I know you get to do this every week, and you have friends and family probably scattered all over the country, but was that week as special for you as it was for us.
Totally. Well, I mean, it was great to finally get the chance to meet you guys in person.
Yeah.
We broke some bread, as they say.
Broke some bread. You guys got to, come out and watch us do our thing, and
it was a good day.
Nice that day, and made a bunch of birdies, and
I just loved what was it, 8 or 9 when he topped it and then got up and down. That's a player's player right there.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
He had a really hard stance because Pete Dye is a terrorist, and
right.
And he
that's just good stuff for
it's
you
great
guys
stuff.
to talk about afterwards, and it's just
Totally.
because that doesn't happen to a pro often, and obviously it was a weird
No, that
awkward
was the
shot,
first time I'd
but
seen
it's
that.
funny to talk about that kind of shit because it's like, oh yeah, he topped it on fucking 8 or whatever it was, and
Nine.
he got up and down,
Yeah, the up and down was beautiful.
and we were stoked to see that because it was like that was a little nipper shot. And he made a pretty decent putt
And
there,
full
too.
disclosure, and we told this to you at dinner, but we'll tell the audience now. When there was such a sparse crowd out there, just kind of us two following every shot, and kind of you guys know we're there and everything. After he had topped the ball on 9, we were like, oh fuck, man! Like, did we bring bad luck? And then when he made the putt for par. What a gutsy par.
Well, we said
shit.
if he misses this,
We're
because
out.
we thought we were good luck for a little bit because you guys kind of going on a run, and I was like, oh fuck, and I looked at Hawk, I was like, if he misses this, we're gonna take a fucking breather, dude.
Yeah.
Well, there's always a few times in every round where you're at a crossroads.
Yeah.
It's like, okay,
Yeah.
Could go either way.
Are we going to keep on rocking, or are we, going to be
That was a momentum saver
scuffling
right
for a
there.
little while? Yeah, that was huge.
Then he made a
too.
huge one on 10 at the turn, and you guys just kept it rolling, which was great, and we felt good about following you guys around, and everyone threw darts on 17, Alcatraz, which was really cool to see. And man, he burned some edges after throwing great approaches. It was just a very fun round
golf
to
to
watch.
watch.
You mentioned this in the it was either on the way up, Ryan, or in the first part of the episode, which we taped before we came here. You want to ask Joe if that was the best meal he had been treated to on tour? And,
It's got to be top 5.
I can't think of a better one.
Got to be top 5.
Hey, cheers to that, man. That makes me feel good. We just gave a seasoned veteran
Yeah.
his best meal on
I mean,
tour.
I've enjoyed that meal. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, that was great. So this year...
Adam, you were on the martinis that night.
Yeah, I was on the gin martinis,
Gin
and then the
martinis.
gin martinis were on me later that night, and
Yeah.
I was...
Tell Joe about our ride home in the morning.
we took the worst way out of the Palm Springs area. We went the
Went
back
the
way.
old back road up the mountain.
Over the mountain.
Oh my
no
god!
kidding.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, you good with windy roads? He's like, yeah. I was like, all right, hop in, kid.
yeah, it was the scariest thing ever. And he was doing this thing where he was challenging himself how long he could go without hitting the brakes, and I'm there just trying not to throw up, and I'm freaking out, and I'm like, dude, please, I'm closing my eyes. I think at one point I turned to you and I said, we have kids. I want to get home to my kids. And
We were humming.
yeah,
Yeah, we were humming.
it was nerve-wracking.
That was fun.
Sprinter van handles
Yeah.
like it's on
Oh
rails,
yeah,
doesn't
dude.
it? Yeah.
Front wheel drive.
Drives
Fuck.
itself. Yeah.
Yeah, it drives itself.
Real
for sure.
agile.
So this year you were actually celebrating your 20th year as a caddy. It hasn't
Wow.
all been on the
That's right.
tour, but
That's
you
right.
started as a club caddy 20 years ago
Yeah, it's hard to believe.
in Georgia. And the story about how you made the leap from club caddy to professional caddy is pretty incredible. And I would like to just get out of the way and have you tell that story to the audience of how you made the jump. And not just how it happened, but why it happened. Because the why is as great as the how, because you took your own destiny into your own hands. So go ahead.
Well, I started club caddying in 2002 at Sea Island, Georgia. Worked a little bit at Sea Island Golf Club and then at Ocean Forest, kind of with the hopes of, excuse me, get a little,
Yeah.
little
Lube it up.
throat lube.
Yeah.
Throat lube.
Yeah. Adam knows all about that.
Yeah.
My dad watches this show. He's very disappointed in you right now.
I'm sure the neighbors think there's some throat lube going on in here
Well,
with this bright
and-
light in this hotel room.
An aside before you start the story, which I can't wait to hear. When we did bring a bunch of gear into camera gear into a hotel room, and Ryan's got the mustache and Nick's got the beard, and the dad hat on. Everybody thinks we're filming a porn.
Nick's the bear and I'm the walrus, or what are the terminology of that?
I have no idea, but let's get back to this story.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah. So
So I'm down in Sea Island, Georgia. club caddying, everything's going good, but I mean, my sights are set on one day being on the PGA Tour. I have no idea how that's going to happen. But I got some business cards made up. I'm like, okay, well, I mean, if anybody comes up to me, I can say, here, I'm Joe Etter. I'm caddy for you. But I got those, and then I ran into Chris Kirk one night randomly at a bar called Murphy's in St. Simons Island. He'd just come off the Walker Cup and was about ready to turn pro, and I'm like, oh, dude, that's Chris Kirk. I should go up and chat him up. So,
and you had been looking up like the up and coming great college players, right? So you were very knowledgeable.
Yeah, I figured that was going to be my best
smart
way to get in, not knowing really anything about anything.
Mm-hmm.
So met him, gave him my card, thinking, okay, well, that guy's never going to call me. But the very next day at Frederica Golf Club, I'm nursing a hangover from that night.
Yeah.
And
loving the story
like,
already.
Okay. Yeah, they're like, all right, Etter, you're up 9:30. You got Chris Kirk and Jimmy Johnston, who is his agent. I'm like, oh,
perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ears perk up a little bit, go up there and kind of put my best foot forward. We go out and have a nice little round. And I think he shot like 65, which is good. And I'm like, okay, well, this is maybe going to turn into something possibly. And then Q school was right around the corner, so a couple weeks later he called me up to go to Q school. And
was that at Stadium still?
No, first stage was in Valdosta, Georgia. Second stage was in the desert outside of like Phoenix, Arizona. And then final stage was at Orange County National.
Oh, wow.
Down in Orlando. So did that, and then he got some nationwide status. This is 07, actually. Fast forward to 07.
Oh, this is okay, yeah.
And did that, and he gave me an opportunity to work for him for a few weeks. Didn't really work out, but I was at least able to
got your foot in the door.
Got my foot in the door, met some other people, started working more on the nationwide tour, and then fast forward to 2011, hadn't really worked. I worked for Chris maybe one other week in like 2010 on just kind of a one-off, and he called me up out of the blue on a Saturday and said, "Hey, I need somebody for Houston. I'm kind of in a rut. Just want to change a little something up. Can you be in Houston Monday night for a Tuesday practice round?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm good to go."
Yeah.
Then he plays Tuesday, played great. I'm like, dude, I don't know, your game looks fine. I don't know what the problem is. And then he goes on and finishes second.
Wow.
Ties for second, and pretty much the most money I've ever made in my life. Like that's like a year's worth of pay for me at the time.
Yeah.
In 1 week, and then
the snowball started going. On the strength of that, I was able to start off with Harris English at the end of 2011. He seems like a nice guy, yeah.
Harris is awesome.
Yeah, he seems like a really nice guy.
Super, super chill guy. Tons of talent. Worked for him for a few years, and then basically it all kind of culminates in where we are sitting right now.
Hey, it's me, Adam Hawk, your host of the Fellowship, recording a voiceover from the car to let you know that we have cut this episode up into 2 different parts, and part 2 is already right here on YouTube. So to hear the rest of our conversation with PGA Tour caddy and sponsored Nation sportsman Joe Etter, stay right here, give it a click, and enjoy the rest of our sit down from Solana Beach, California.